welcome to the Spotlight series. It's so lovely to have you join us. And it would be great if you could actually just introduce yourself, say who you are and where you're from, so that everyone listening can know.
Okay, thank you, Belamie. It's a pleasure to be with you. My name is Regina Pazzannese. I'm from Brazil, South America, and I've been working with Deep Democracy for 10 years now. I'm a strategic planning consultant, and and I help institutions to deepen their practices and their policies. So I'm also a historian, I think.
What drew you to Lewis Deep Democracy? How did you first become involved in it? And what happened? Why did you feel that it was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah. So I've been when I first met Mirna and the method was in 2015. I've been working with strategic planning and NGOs and helping to manage processes connected with social causes for around a decade. And I was missing a method that could read the room better and the group dynamics better, because I felt we had between 2000 and 2010, we had two governments in Brazil that worked a lot with democratic practices, building public policies through participatory processes. And I was part of this somehow, not inside the government, but helping these conferences and workshops and participatory moments to happen. And I felt that we were talking about big issues and making decisions and preparing documents and procedures and new policies, but they were not actually being implemented. So I was searching for a tool to understand why in the end the buy-in wasn't being enough. And then I heard about Deep Democracy while doing a workshop. Someone in this workshop in São Paulo, which this is the city I used to live in. I've lived there for around 25 years. Told about this, told deep democracy. And when I heard, I said, this is what I have to do. This is my next step. So that is the beginning of the story.
That's lovely. And right
Yeah.
now, how many people in your part of the world are involved with Lewis Deep Democracy?
I never made this math, but I think I have trained around 500 leaders in Brazil, and not only Brazil, people from South America and also from Portugal. Around how many organizations? Maybe 30 or 40 organizations in Brazil know this method exists, or did trainings with me, or I was facilitating some process that I used the method. And then they asked me, what did you do? And I say, well, this is Deep Democracy. So I think he's considering that we don't have that much organizations working with participatory processes. Despite Brazil is a huge country with 200 million people, most of these organizations are involved in working with social responsibility or with some governmental agendas, and was the focus of the work I've been doing so far. So, yeah.
You know, as you were talking, you said something that people would watch you facilitate and afterwards approach you and say, what are you doing? What do you think that's all about? What is it that they're experiencing that they actually approach you?
I love this question because I think when I met Deep Democracy, I have done many other trainings around like I'm a facilitator. So I have these skills, I have these tools with me to facilitate groups to listen better. And deep democracies, Lewis deep democracy is totally different about this, because we deepen, we go to the to like we go deeper about listening, and the way we communicate is more conscious with people. So the way I interact with people makes me different leader in the room, and people notice that I'm listening for long. It's not only listening for long, but it's also the way I ask questions and bring the my knowledge, or bring my vision about something. So it is different. This is, I think, what the method does to people is that they help people to be more secure to say what needs to be said, and in a way that is not violent or conflictual, but is just assertive, in a certain way that people is not used to do this or see someone doing it. So I think this is and also because we are searchers of the know, because this is what we do, né? When we see in the room something super different that usually is not being um, um, involved or added to the process, because it's something like an elephant in the room, or something that is not so popular to spread, not to make it vocal. What we do is the contrary. We give voice to this nose and to these feelings that there is something different in the room. Let's open space to this different. So I think, as we are not used to do this in our relations, in our group activities, while we are making our conversations, and we in deep democracy, we do it. So people just pay attention and say, "Wow, I thought this meeting was going to go to one place, and then we went to other, and in the end, the results are so much better." And people are feeling like, I was stressed and now I'm not anymore. So it's a wisdom that is not only in our rational minds, but it involves our whole body. And deep democracy is a process that we have to deal with our emotions as well. So the room becomes different emotionally when we use the method. And this brings me a lot of hope for the future of our relations and how we are actually building policies, because sometimes no, but in the normal routine of doing politics, we go to these places of splitting relationships, or polarizing, or making war, or making it difficult for everybody, or imposing our views. And we we are autocratic with people that has less power than us. So it's a way of making the power dynamic more fair for everybody. And this is what I feel, and this is what people feel as well, especially those that usually don't have a voice. They feel so much the method, that they feel appreciation for the method in the end of the meetings, like they come talking to me, or I see these people that are in their faces that, wow, something shifted here, and now I have a voice, and now I can say what I need to say, and I'm not being like the scapegoat of this process. No. Yes. So this is, I don't know if I answered everything you wanted, but
That sounds great. To me,
yeah.
it's really interesting to hear that Lewis Deep Democracy gives you the sense of hope in terms of the future, and especially
Yeah.
for someone who's involved with politics and with in it's helping being a policy builder. That to me
Yeah.
sounds really interesting. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I've been working this past year, um, supporting the government and some administration sectors of the government in more, not only in strategic planning, but my work, because of deep democracy, is going more to the focusing on strengthening the institution. And I've been working strengthening, helping to in supporting to strengthen some administrative sectors of the government, and working with the, how do you say this in English? Clima, organizational climate. Do you say this in English? Some you say, yeah. So people that have difficulty talking, sectors that are not working well together, and this is menacing the internal processes of the administration. So I've been working a lot with that since the last year, and I'm seeing in real time those practices and understanding about the dynamic of the administration changing. So I know it is possible. I have a concrete example to give. I don't want to say which department I'm working with, but for 12, maybe 15 years, this department didn't do a public exam. So the last public servers that went to work with them was 15 years ago, and they stayed this long time without receiving any new public server through an exam process. And now they did this in 2024. They are an administrative sector that has around 200 public servers, and now they have 300. So it increased in 15 years without anyone new, and now they have this new generation with people around 26, 25 years, and they are mostly 50s, 60s in the organization. So imagine how they're connecting and working together, because they have this huge difference of age between them. I don't know if, Bellamy, you correct me, please, if I'm saying something in English that you can help
Generation
me.
gaps. Yeah, this
Yeah.
huge generation gaps. I can imagine.
Yes, huge. And then I I came to work and listen to the group, and actually they wanted me to do something else. And then I talked to the presidency and with the high level directors, and I said, no, I'm not going to do this meeting, one day meeting to solve all your problems and put all these people from different generation ages together in one day. Then I said, this is what we are going to do. I'm going to listen. And then I designed a process, a dialogue process for them. And they said, wow, this is the first time I have a consultancy saying that doesn't want to do the work. I like it. Let's do it the way you're saying. And then in the end, like, I heard so many fascinating testimonies and feedbacks about the process. People that are public servers for around 40 years, and now it's almost retiring. And these people that were like, oh, I can't stand these people that just came here, they're so young, they don't understand anything, they have to do the hard work before doing the good work. And then in the end, this man, super, like, in the high level hierarchy, saying, well, I need to be more empathic. Well, I need to think better what I'm doing, because I'm not welcoming this new generation to the, like, I was not expecting at all to listen to this, and the impact. I'm in the process of helping this organization, but we did the first phase, and I did a report about it, and then we'll have the second phase next year. And they said it is amazing what already this process produced. And I don't need to say that I'm doing deep democracy. Of course, in the end, people always come and ask me, but it's so different from, and in the beginning they said, well, we have done a strategic planning before, we know exactly what this is. And I said, well, we are not going to do this. This process is going to help and be connected with your strategic planning exactly because people will be prepared to say more what they need to be said so that you can have more buy-in in the agendas of the strategic planning, but it's not the same thing. And in the end they said, well, I've never seen this before. I think was the most transparent and honest process, and at the same time with empathy, né, to build together. And so this is amazing for me. I have another experience, for instance, in the north of Brazil. I was building a public policy for the educational sector, for the first child education. And we were in this room because we were building a state policy for this particular state. And we had people from around 40 different secretaries to end this process, to finalize this policy. And some of the people in the room were there for the first time, despite we were preparing and working with this government for like 2 or 3 years, and the government already was doing this work for 5 years. For some people this work was new, and we had the secretary and the governor of this process in the room, around 50 people. And these people started to like resist to the process and say they were really uncomfortable about everything. They thought it was autocratic and they needed time. And everybody was silenced in the room. Everybody was in silence because it felt super like the way we were feeling emotionally, like, oh my god, we were not expecting this to happen. They were expecting was a celebrating moment, that everybody was going to be super satisfied because we were ending such a huge process of a participatory process to build this policy. The people that were involved was doing so much more than they needed to do to make this happen. And then someone was there that didn't know all this effort and was questioning and criticizing. Well, the first reaction of the government and the secretary was like, freeze, because we need to bring everybody together, and we need that everybody is happy. Like, this is policy. We don't like conflict. And then I just had this 5 minutes. Of course, I was the consultant, so my role there was, it was difficult for me to say, well, I will be the protagonist here. I'm with the governor. But I just felt like, knowing the method and knowing what I had to do, I just used the method, and I just used the democracy, and we could solve the situation there. Because instead of trying to make the no and the resistance disappear, I just came to the no and asked the no to join us and say, what do you need to come along? What do you need for us to make this process work for you? And then, as we do in deep democracy, the person said, and then I asked, who else feels that way? Our magic question. And another department secretary said, we do need this as well. And then we could make a solution that involved and add everybody's wisdom. And in the end, people just said to me, what did you do? Because the room completely changed the energy, because I could bring their wisdom, the resistance voices to the platform, and worked with them together while we were making the decision. So I will never forget this experience, because you need to have the muscle to be in this uncomfortable place where everybody's disagreeing. And then you just say, well, this no is a yes, actually. This is exactly the turning point we needed to make this work. So this is a different way of seeing situations. And deep democracy gave me this, and I try to bring to as much as people and contexts, especially those that are with this effort of changing the practices in our society and helping and increasing democracy, or even making people's life better in terms of being in situations that you don't feel that you don't have a voice, that you feel that are unfair for the most part of people. So this is where I would love the methodology to go as fast as we can, because we absolutely need it.
Beautiful. Oh, I can't even ask you anymore. That sounds amazing. But Regina, I wanted to ask. So it sounds like Lewis Deep Democracy has given you an incredible quality that sets you apart professionally. Like you're able to do things that other consultants are not able to do. But
Yeah.
has it also impacted you personally? Has it shifted you yourself?
Completely. Especially, like I said, I'm in south of Brazil. I'm in the city I was born, and for a long time I couldn't stand be here because it's a more conservative place, and today I feel super in peace with that. Like I can talk and have this, like, to share with people so different from me in the political spectrum, and also with my family that came from this background that are more conservative. And I'm here with my mother, and having a great relationship with my sisters and my whole family, and this was not so in peace for me for such a long time. And I think deep democracy helps. And even when I train people, they start using the method with their families and friends. So yes, I think it made my life to change in whole aspects, not only with the work I'm doing, né, for the outside, but also inside myself. I have this feeling that I'm being more honest with myself, and also, like we say in Brazil, this personal power. I don't know if you say this in English, like. Yes, we use in Portuguese this. Do you use in English this idea of personal power? When you don't feel embarrassed about being your full self and authentic. And I also ended relationship because of deep democracy, because
That
you are
doesn't
more
sound like a
aware.
good thing. Is it a good thing?
Yes, it is, because some people just don't treat us well. And then you have to put boundaries. And when you do, you know when this relationship is healthy or not. When you say to someone, I don't like that you are treating me like this, and this person like collapse and just don't want to build, just don't make the efforts to build a better relationship with you, listening and respecting your boundaries. Sometimes you have to say, okay, so you go your way, I'm going my way. But I'm always open. I always say to these people that I don't agree and that I feel that it's better that we are apart, I say, I will be always be here if you want to talk and listen. I'm not ending this relationship because we are fighting, but because you are not trying to go to another level with me, with more maturity, with more responsibility, and that we are actually feeling comfortable and not in this relation where we have a different hierarchy between people. Because this doesn't happen only in organizations, in our personal lives, especially people that works with psychology of friendships in groups. We always have the leader. In families, in friendships, we always have that people that has needs another followers, that doesn't want that anyone contests their ideas, their movements, their choices, because you have to follow them, or you are not that important in the hierarchy of the family or of the friends. And I'm a person, like, I'm an anarchist. I don't like someone telling me what I have to do. I need to be in fair relationships. I cannot stand to be in relations where I feel that I'm not being treated as an equal as everyone else. And I want to treat others in this way as well. So for me, it doesn't work. So I think, not be only because of my work, that I wanted other people to feel that they have similar levels to be in the relationships, but for me as well, this thing about following and just following others doesn't work. So I want fairness in all my relationships. So this helped me. And it's not about agreeing, because you might say, like, well, now she's more gentle and she listens everybody and she respects other people's points of view. Actually, this is true, but at the same time, was for me was the contrary, or how I stand up for my point of view without having to fight for it. And this is what I did with my family. And now I think people see me differently. They cannot treat me like they did before, because I have changed my attitude. But at the same time, it was not about being super polite. And of course polite, I'm polite, but it was not about me making concession. It was different. It was about me saying what needs to be said in a very secure way, in a very safe way for me. So I think this is quite different from us being like agreeable people and people that don't want to join conflict. Is different. Is the how you present yourself when you have conflict. This is the whole difference about the method, I think. Yeah. I don't know if I
So
made myself so clear.
it's quite interesting because you kind of hinted at, like, the magic about it is asking what do you need to go along. The difference about it is the way in which you treat conflict. But if you just were for a moment to just think for yourself about the, like, for you, the biggest, for you personally, most important lesson or idea or concept that Lewis Deep Democracy has given you, what would that be?
Wow. The method gave me so many important lessons. But I think now is like I have this inner voice that we call neutrality, equanimity, right? I have this inner voice with me that I'm all the time stepping back a situation and talking to myself and realizing what is the need in the room. And then I'm vocalizing it. Like, but this is what I think, but what do you need? And this has has made the whole difference in my life. I think this this posture, this gesture of bringing, like, well, I'm feeling like this. I'm excited about it. I've been, I've been excited person my whole life. I always put a lot of effort in the things I want to bring and the things I want to do. And this was too much. Like, of course, you can be excited and say with a lot of energy, but then step back and ask, but how do you feel? And I have this, like, simple situation that I passed yesterday with my mother, because we were going to have lunch together. And then, as I'm a more restrictive person eating, because I'm super, like, I like to eat really well and organic food and etc. And my mother's like, she doesn't bind, so she doesn't care about this. So sometimes she just, like, go with the flow when I ask her, like, let's have lunch, and she already know that I will sometimes impose because I need to eat better quality food. And then yesterday I just said, well, you know, my favorite place, but what do you want? And I just realized maybe I have never done this question about food for her before. And it was super interesting because she said about some places, and we actually went to a restaurant she likes to go, and I could eat a fish without butter, and I ate super well. And in the end, she usually doesn't do that because it's not normal. I pay for my lunch, she pays for her lunch. And yesterday she said, I want to pay this bill. And I said, what? I think this is it's not because I want her to pay my bills. I'm super comfortable about paying my bills, but something about the gentleness that she did was super gentle, and she doesn't do that normally about our lunch time, and it's fine. So, and then I just had this click because I did this question. I did, what do you want? So is in the small details you can see deep democracy working, and it is magic. It is magical, right?
I believe it's
Yes.
magical. But for me, what's
Yes.
amazing is that if you kind of think about it, it's kind of it gave to you when you first started learning about it, and it's still giving to you even up until yesterday. I mean, now it's 6 o'clock in the morning for you, so very early to, we're discussing it, but like it's still so practical and
Yes.
part and parcel of your day to day life, how
Yes.
you live as a person, how you operate as a daughter,
Yeah.
and in the workplace, right?
Yes, it is. I always say to my students when I'm training them, like it's like a new lens that you use. Yes, it's like a new pair of glasses. Like this is deep democracy. I was blurred before, not seeing things exactly, and then you put deep democracy. Like this is, do you know Clark Kent and Superman? Something similar, because I cannot see the world anymore as I saw before, because I have these tools, I have this approach, I have the and also deep democracy in terms of theoretical deep democracy view of the world. So it is in me, actually. It is in me. It's part of who I am now, and I hope that the few people that are watching and have the contact with the method feel the same way, if not now, in the future, because it will make a whole difference. Like it's like the rock in the lake. I say it's like a rock in the lake that you you throw the rock and then you see it changing everything. So this is how I feel. I'm enormously grateful for you, for Mirna. I always say this to Mirna, like I cannot say more thank you to you, be more grateful to you, because you brought this method and you shared the wisdom of this method and put all your effort to make this spread for the whole globe. So super, super thank you. I will be forever in depth with deep democracy because of it. And when I go to this career that I don't want to say it, né? But I'm doing this exam. When I have this with me, this other function in the world, I will be with deep democracy working in this super complex and rigid platforms to help also deepen peace. And I will be with a method that I'm so grateful that I have this method to be in this new position in the future. And I'm sure it will make the whole difference. I'm sometimes I wonder, I'm thinking about the future when I'm already this new position, and I'm saying, what we will do with deep democracy in this contest. Like it will be life changing. For I think I will be an anarchist, and people will say, oh my god, you shouldn't do this, you're not allowed. Oh yes, I am. So I don't know if this is making sense, but I'm super
I wanted to
excited
say
about the
something.
future. Yeah.
sorry, I wanted to say, you say that you're so grateful to Myrna and me, but I just also want to just express my gratitude because there are people like you out there who are taking this method, Lewis Deep Democracy, to people that we can't access. And you helping us to do the really important work of spreading it and improving groups, improving relationships, improving dynamics, and helping people get
Yeah.
excited about it. So we're grateful. So thank you.
Yes, we
And in
are.
closing, do you?
The role is we are the role is fluid. We are doing the role fluidity. How
We are
grateful of
absolute.
grateful. Yes.
The gratitude is very fluid between us.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, I know that we said maybe mentioning about something in the future, but I know we've gone over time. So just from your
Yeah.
side, is there anything before we close that you want to add or speak about or share? And you don't have to, but just for you, just
Yeah.
think about it for a moment.
Yes, I think for people that are watching is to know if you are feeling um how do you say this, without hope now about your dialogues, about your conversations, about the organization you are in. Just know, absolutely know that this method can help, and is 100% that maybe you're not going to change your organization, maybe you're not going to change that relationship, but you are going to change many things, starting for yourself. And this will make an impact in the life of those that are around you and those that have to be with you in this journey of life that is self-development and healing ourselves and making our life less miserable and that you can smile in the end. And so I think this is, I don't know if this was super uh, like looks like some guru speaking, but just know that, know the method, and you will see the changes that it will make in your environment, in your life. It will worth it.
That's amazing. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for speaking to us in English. Your English is
Wow.
brilliant. One day in
No.
Portuguese.
Oh my God. Yes. You own that to me. The next interview, because Belamie is learning Portuguese, I will interview you in Portuguese. It's a deal. Doesn't matter if it's in the next 10 years, doesn't matter. I hope we have this interview in Portuguese, and then I will ask you about the
Lovely.
democracy. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye, Belamie.
Bye.